Picture this. It's 2023, and a New York attorney submits a series of AI-written court briefs. The only problem, the cases he cited absolutely did not exist. He was sanctioned, and it was a massive professional disaster. But in that exact same year, an AI successfully helped a defendant win a traffic case right in the courtroom. So the reality is, AI is already inside our courtrooms. The big question we have to answer today is whether it's helping or hurting. Welcome to this explainer, everyone. For a long time, artificial intelligence in the legal field was treated like, a glorified search engine, just a research novelty kept safely in the back office. But look, that era is officially over. Today, we're diving into hard, documented evidence that AI has aggressively moved from the sidelines and become an active, highly consequential player in the U.S. legal system. Whether you're a sitting judge, a practicing lawyer, or a law student looking ahead at your career, you've got to understand that AI isn't just drafting internal memos anymore. It's fundamentally altering the mechanics of justice.
The sheer whiplash of exactly how fast this technology is moving is honestly staggering. When we look at the evidence, we see this incredible stark juxtaposition from just that 1 year, 2023. Over on the left, we've got a groundbreaking victory when AI successfully generated live counterarguments in court, literally helping a user win their case. And yet, right next to it on the right, we have a catastrophic professional disaster in the Avianca case. An attorney faced severe, career-altering sanctions for submitting AI-hallucinated precedents to a federal judge. We are talking about the exact same underlying generative technology operating in the exact same year, producing a historic triumph on one end and an absolute nightmare on the other.
So here's our roadmap for today's explainer. First, AI arguments in court. Second, the cautionary tale. Third, AI in criminal justice. Fourth, corporate litigation AI. And finally, what courts are saying.
Let's jump right into Exhibit 1, AI arguments in court.
This brings us back to that DoNotPay traffic ticket case from 2023. Now, on the surface, you might be thinking, okay, a parking ticket is literally the lowest stakes legal battle you can possibly fight. And you'd be right. But the mechanics of what actually happened here are revolutionary for legal practice. See, this AI system didn't just passively look up the law or hand the guy a pre-written script. No, it actively listened to the live proceedings and generated real-time counterarguments and procedural objections. The user then took those and presented them directly to the judge. The AI acted as a live co-counsel, dynamically adapting to the flow of the hearing. And guess what? It worked. The user successfully contested the ticket. This proved beyond a doubt that an AI could parse procedural nuances, understand context, and execute legal strategy just as well as a human practicing traffic law.
So the absolutely crucial takeaway is summarized perfectly right here. This is the first documented case of AI-generated arguments used in actual court proceedings. Think about what that actually means for a second. We crossed a major threshold in the evolution of legal representation. AI went from being a backstage tool that helps a lawyer prep for court to a mechanism that is actively practicing defense inside the courtroom. It was a massive proof of concept. It showed everyone that the traditional barriers to entry for legal defense could be and are being fundamentally disrupted by an algorithm.
But of course, with high tech comes high risk. Let's move to Section 2, the cautionary tale.
We're going to walk step by step through the Mata v. Avianca timeline because this brilliantly illustrates how the allure of a quick shortcut can unravel into an absolute disaster. Okay, it starts at the 1 hour mark. An attorney trying to save some time and streamline his workflow uses generative AI to draft a legal brief. Sounds like an incredibly efficient, modern solution to billable hour pressure, right? By the 1 day mark, he's feeling confident in the output, and the brief is officially submitted to the court. Done and dusted. But jump ahead to 3 weeks. Opposing counsel and the judge start pulling the case citations to review the precedents, and they realize a horrifying truth. The cases simply do not exist. The AI completely made them up. Fast forward to the 2-month mark, and the attorney is officially sanctioned. We're talking public humiliation, severe disciplinary action, and irreparable damage to his professional reputation.
Now, I really want you to focus on this exact number, 6. The generative AI didn't just, misquote a minor detail or get a date wrong. It completely fabricated 6 separate fake legal precedents out of thin air. It didn't just guess. It confidently hallucinated case names, specific docket numbers, and even generated lengthy, completely fake judicial opinions to back up its own lies. And when the user actually challenged the AI to verify the cases, the system doubled down and insisted they were real. The attorney relied on it blindly, failed to verify the output, and ended up submitting 6 pieces of pure fiction to a federal judge. And honestly, that is exactly why Mata vs. Avianca has become the defining moment in modern AI legal ethics. It was a massive, industry-wide wake-up call.
It established an absolute, non-negotiable reality for all of us. You cannot delegate your ethical duty of candor to a machine. This single event permanently altered the landscape of legal malpractice. It proved that while AI can draft a brief in seconds and parse complex data like a genius, it can also destroy a career just as fast if you don't use rigorous human oversight.
Now, let's raise the stakes even higher. Section 3. AI in Criminal Justice.
When we look at the criminal justice system, algorithms are fundamentally altering reality from two entirely different angles. On one hand, we've got tools like the COMPAS algorithm. This is a risk assessment system used in Wisconsin criminal sentencing, and it directly influences how long a human being sits in a prison cell by calculating their recidivism risk. On the other hand, we have AI facial recognition. This is being deployed extensively to gather criminal evidence across multiple jurisdictions. And the outcome there? It's a total double-edged sword. Yes, it has successfully led to criminal convictions by identifying suspects from vast databases. But on the flip side, it has also led to documented, proven, wrongful arrests of innocent people based on algorithmic mismatches.
Let's break down the real-world impact here, because the consequences are literally life-altering. First off, the U.S. Supreme Court has actually refused to hear an appeal challenging the use of the COMPAS algorithm. That means, at least for now, algorithms are legally permitted to actively influence prison sentence lengths. Just let that sink in for a second. A proprietary, closed-source formula is helping decide human liberty. Second, AI facial recognition isn't just a behind-the-scenes investigative tool for police anymore, it is actively being admitted as evidence in criminal proceedings in multiple states. But as the source data clearly shows, this technology is far from perfect. It has led to proven wrongful arrests. We are putting blind faith in algorithms to identify suspects based on pixel arrays, and when the machine gets it wrong, an innocent person gets handcuffed. These aren't theoretical late-night law school debates. These are current operational realities happening in our justice system today.
All right, let's pivot and talk about the financial side of things. Section 4, Corporate Litigation AI.
2.3 million. That is the number of legal documents that an AI system was tasked with analyzing for a single commercial dispute in Delaware, slated for 2025. Now, if you've ever worked in corporate litigation or e-discovery, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Reviewing 2.3 million documents using human attorneys, that would require an absolute army of associates and months, if not years, of billable hours. It would be an endless, grueling slog of sifting through emails, contracts, and memos. The sheer data scale of modern corporate litigation has simply outgrown human capacity. It creates a massive bottleneck that usually dictates the entire pace of commercial law. But here is where the story gets absolutely wild. 72. That is the number of hours it took the AI to complete that entire review. A law firm unleashed an AI on 2.3 million unstructured documents, and just 3 days later, the analysis was totally complete. I mean, that is a feat that is mathematically and physically impossible for a human legal team to achieve, no matter how many paralegals you throw at the problem. It completely redefines the timeline and the strategic pacing of corporate litigation. We're talking about compressing years of traditional discovery work into a single long weekend. And here is the absolute punchline of this corporate case study: $127 million. The AI didn't just give a nice little summary of the documents in those 72 hours. It successfully identified the smoking gun evidence buried deep within that massive data dump. That specific AI-surfaced evidence was so compelling that it directly resulted in a $127 million settlement. This proves that AI isn't just cutting overhead costs or making timelines faster. It is actively winning massive, 9-figure commercial disputes by finding the needle in the haystack, the exact needle that human lawyers, dealing with inevitable eye strain and fatigue, would almost certainly miss. This fundamentally changes the economics of corporate discovery and totally shifts the balance of power in high-stakes litigation.
Which brings us to our final stop, Section 5, What Courts Are Saying.
Now, as you might expect, the courts are not just sitting around waiting to see what happens. Judges are actively fighting back to maintain the integrity of the justice system. Across the country, courts are issuing strict new judicial guidelines specifically targeting artificial intelligence. They are focusing really heavily on regulating AI use in court filings. In fact, many federal judges now require lawyers to explicitly disclose if they use generative AI to draft their briefs or conduct their research. On top of that, attorneys have to actually certify that a human being independently verified every single citation before it gets submitted. The ultimate goal here? It's defensive. It's basically a judicial arms race. Courts are desperately attempting to prevent the kind of confident hallucinations we saw in the Avianca case from permanently polluting our body of legal precedents and undermining the entire foundation of case law.
And that brings us to the end of our explainer, leaving us with a really critical, unresolved debate. You've seen the evidence today. You've seen the unprecedented efficiency and the massive settlements. But you've also seen the completely fake precedents, the ethical sanctions, and the wrongful arrests. So, to all the legal professionals, judges, law students, and just curious citizens watching this right now, I want you to make the call. Should AI-generated arguments be allowed in U.S. courts? Is the risk of a confident hallucination worth the reward of perfect efficiency? Drop a yes or a no in the comments, and let's keep this vital conversation going. Thanks for exploring the evidence with me today, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.